Today we're talking about section 6-6, which is about composition of functions. So when we're doing composition of functions, the first thing you need to know is what composition is. Composition is given two or more functions, plugging in one function into another, and evaluating or getting a new formula, okay? So when you see something that's written like this, f parentheses g of x, that is exactly the same as f of g. That does not say fog, it says f of g. Same thing here, g parenthesis f of x is the same thing as g of f of x, okay? When you plug in a number, you are going to get out a number. When you plug in an expression, you are going to get out an expression. So if I plug in a singular number, I will calculate a singular number out. If I plug in an expression with a variable, I will more than 90% of the time have an expression back, okay? So here I go. I give you these two functions, f of x and g of x, and I want you to work from the inside out, and I want you to do f of g of negative 3. What does this mean? This means that you are going to be taking g at negative 3. What is g defined to be? 7 minus 13x. Every place you see an x, you're going to plug in the number negative 3. So that's 7 minus 13 times negative 3. So that's 7 plus 39. 7 plus 39 is going to be 46. So here's the thing. When I see g at negative 3, I now have a number that I can put in place of it. That number is going to be 46. So what I'm actually doing is f at 46. Why? Because g at negative 3 is equivalent to 46. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do f at 46. Well, what is f defined to be? F is given in our directions to be 2x minus 7. So every place I see an x, I'm going to plug in 46. 2 times 46 minus 7, that's 92 minus 7. 92 minus 7 is going to give you an 85. So that means f at g at negative 3 is the same thing as f at 46, and f at 46 is the same thing as 85. And you are done. Let's do that again. When you see the little o, you think g of f at 6. That is the same thing as saying g parenthesis f parenthesis 6 close parentheses. Okay? Now, you work from the inside out. So if you're working from the inside out, I'm doing f at 6. My f function is defined as 3x minus 5. Every place you see an x, you plug in a 6. 3 times 6 is 18, minus 5 is 13. Now, f at 6 is 13. So f of 6 right here is also going to get the 13. So that's going to be g now at 13. So now I'm going to do g at 13. G is defined to be an x squared plus 8. That's what we got from the beginning of the problem. Every place you see an x, you are going to plug in 13. 13 squared plus 8. 13 is 169. Plus 8 is going to give you 177. Okay? Which means g at 13 is 177. Now, you can read this problem exactly the way from right to left. G of f at 6 is the same thing as g of f of 6, which is the same thing as g at 13, which is exactly the same thing as 177. Okay? Now, I give you 3 individual functions. You are going to do the same thing. You are going to work from the inside out. So if I'm working from the inside out, I'm going to do h at 2. So h at 2 is what I'm going to do. H is 2x minus 7. So that's 2 times 2 minus 7. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Okay? Every place I see an h at 2, I'm going to put in negative 3. So now I'm going to do g at negative 3. G is described to be x squared minus 5. Okay? Every place I see an x, I plug in a negative 3. Negative 3 squared is going to be 9. Minus 5 is 4. Every place I see a g at negative 3, I now am going to put in place of that f of 4. So now I have to do f of 4. F is 2 over 3 times 4. Put the 4 over 1, and that's 8/3. So 8/3 is your final answer. That is what you know. That is your final answer. Okay? Now I'm going to give you 2 more examples here. And these are going to be whenever you plug in an expression. So far all we've done is plugging in numbers. So now let's go ahead and do an expression. Now this says I'm supposed to take the f function, and every place I see an x, I'm now supposed to plug in 2x minus 7. So this is going to be 3 parentheses, 2x minus 7, close parenthesis, minus 5. I don't even need the gx. It's there to confuse you. So now we simplify by multiplying 6x minus 21 minus 5. So 6x minus 26. That is the new function. F at 2x minus 7 is equal to 6x minus 26. Okay? Next, same 2 functions, but this time I'm doing g at f of x. Well, what is f of x described to be? F of x is 3x minus 5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have g of 3x minus 5. Sorry. So every place I see an x in the g function, the g function is defined to be x squared plus 8. So now I'm going to put in place of x, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 3x minus 5 squared plus 8. So I'm going to write this down twice, and I'm going to FOIL it. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times minus 5 is negative 15x. Minus 15x is inner. And last is plus 25, and then I'm going to tack on the plus 8. I'm going to combine like terms, giving me a minus 30x plus a 33. That is g at f of x. And that is how you are going to do tonight's homework. Tonight's homework is 6-6 worksheet 2.